I'd like to call the July 14th, 2014 Finance Committee meeting to order. Chair would entertain a motion for the consideration of claims.
I would move for the consideration of claims to be paid in the amount of $590,990.76. Manual checks in the amount of $212,246.40. Checks for payroll and liabilities for June 27th, 2014 in the amount of $365,365.95. The Elan credit card in the amount of $7,414.22 for a total of $1,176,017.33.
And is there a second on that?
I second it.
All right, any questions on the bills today?
I did not have any.
None. No, mine were answered.
Okay, and I had just a couple of questions. The first one was page 10 of 15. The top of the page, item 19283. We had three trees from Sprouts for $165. And my question was why it was listed under item 347 under street lighting for trees.
Your Honor, if it's a replacement on the Main Street median, it goes, that's where they code it to, is Main Street.
And I know we talked at a previous meeting when we had several other trees from Sprouts, and we talked about bidding and getting them out of town rather than local. And you probably don't have the information today, but could we find out maybe what that difference in pricing is or something, just for when people are asking those questions?
Yeah, because I think there's, Mr. Chairman, claims on here too for Sweetwater. There are trees and other supplies on there too. But yeah,
Okay.
we'll have to, I can get that for you.
And then the only other question I had was on the credit card statement on why we had fireworks for $31.34.
We had a mounted patrol class at Central Wyoming College a couple weeks ago, and part of that training for the horses is fireworks, sirens, things of that nature. So myself and Sergeant Marshall went to the fireworks stand and bought firecrackers for that school,
Okay,
for the
thank
mounted
you.
patrol class.
All right, and that's all the questions I had. So if there are no other questions, all those in favor of the approval of claims say aye.
Aye.
Those opposed, motion carried. Is there any other business for us today, Mr. Weaver?
Well, we have an exciting meeting tomorrow night, so hopefully you guys will bring your pillows, and it's going to be a long one.
Yeah.
No, I'm joking. Sorry. Well, I'd like to formally introduce Kyle Butterfield, here's the new Public Works Director. He's started today, and I'm sure he'll be swimming underwater by the time we get through with him. But he's doing a great job, and excited to have him on board.
Good, welcome.
Thank you.
All right, if there's no other business, meeting adjourned.
Council to order at 7:02. Would Councilman Guard lead us in the pledge, please?
Thank you, Your Honor.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would the city clerk please conduct the roll call?
Yes, Your Honor. Councilman Rich Guard.
Here.
Councilman Martin Canan.
Here.
Councilman Jonathan Fabian.
Here.
Councilman Kyle Larson. Councilman Todd Smith.
Here.
Mayor Ron Mortness.
And I am present. The chair would entertain a motion to excuse Councilmember Christensen from tonight's meeting due to illness.
Your Honor, I would move to excuse Councilmember Christensen at this time.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Declaration of a quorum. I declare that we have a quorum present this evening. The chair would entertain a motion for the approval of the agenda.
Your Honor, I'd make the motion to approve the agenda.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded to approve the agenda. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Mayor votes aye. Communication from the floor. Citizens' comments. Anyone in the audience wishing to address the council regarding an item that is already on the agenda will be given an opportunity to speak later on. I would ask those individuals who wish to address the council at this time to approach the podium and identify yourself for the record. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to address the council at this time on an agenda item that is not on the agenda? I'm sorry?
I believe that we need to address the council.
Okay. Is this,
To permit.
Yeah, it's for permits.
okay. We're going to address that in just a moment, so. Okay. The chair would entertain a motion, consent agenda. Would the city clerk please read the consent agenda items by title only?
Yes, Your Honor. Approval of the minutes July 1st, 2014 regular council meeting. Approval of the minutes July 8th, 2014 council work session. Approval of the minutes July 14th, 2014 finance committee meeting. Approval of finance committee recommendations for July 14th, 2014. Approval of the municipal court report for the month of June 2014. The city clerk's office also received catering permit applications. One was received from Bar 10 for August 16, 2014 for the Riverfest at Lander City Park, 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. The Lapeer for July 18, 2014 fundraiser at St. Margaret's Gym from 4 p.m. to 12 a.m. And we received 2 open container permit applications, one from Mike Wilson for August 1st, 2014 wedding rehearsal at Sunset Park, 5 p.m. to 10 p.m. And the Landing Lounge, July 18, 2014 street dance on South 3rd East, 8 p.m. to 12 a.m.
Your Honor,
Thank you. Yes.
it's the recommendation of the Finance Committee for the approval of claims to be paid in the amount of $590,990.76. Manual checks in the amount of $212,246.40. Checks written for payroll liabilities for June 27, 2014 in the amount of $365,365.95. Elan credit card in the amount of $7,414.22 for a total of $1,176,017.33.
Okay, thank you. The chair would entertain a motion regarding the consent agenda.
Your Honor, I would move to approve consent agenda, but to pull the landing lounge permit so that we can have further discussion.
Okay,
Second.
it's been moved and seconded. Is there discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign, motion carries. At this time, we will have the discussion regarding the landing lounge. If you'd want to come to the podium and identify yourself for the record.
My name is J.R. Kuski, sir.
And I'm Sherry Vigil.
Yes, we are, between the two of us, we manage the place.
Okay.
For Robert Markworth.
Okay,
And we're just requesting the liquor permit to be approved.
okay. And I think the council has some questions regarding how much of the street you're going to be closing off and what your plans are for that event.
Well, sir, on the south end of the building, we have 2 entrances. On the south entrance, we're going to put a 40-foot trailer across the street, and then I will rope off the rest
So the trailer
to
will...
Main Street. Yes, the
The
trailer will be to
will
the
set
south.
on Main Street?
No, sir. It'll be on the south side.
Oh, okay.
And I will rope off the rest. Any liquor sales, any beer sales, any alcohol, period, will be handled inside. There will be nothing outside. Everything, nothing sold outside. Everything has to be done inside. We will have 3 stations. I have 2 gentlemen to work the doors to make sure that IDs are checked. Oh, yes, and we will have armbands
Okay.
so that, when you walk in and say you want a beer, or you want, all you gotta do is look. But there will be no glass. Everything will be done in plastic or cans.
Okay. Just so that I can get straight in my mind, this 40-foot trailer will be setting to the east of the landing,
Yes, sir.
right?
It will be, yes, to the east on Third,
Yes.
and it will be perpendicular to,
It will run parallel to the bar, or,
yes, no, I'm sorry,
Third runs north and south. We'll be blocking the south end of
the trailer will be east and west on Third running south.
okay.
And then it'll be roped off from door to door.
So you'll be closing off Third Street then, is what I'm hearing you say?
Basically, yes, sir. Now, if you don't agree with that, we can change that, if you don't agree with that.
Well, the council is we're just
Yes.
trying to get clear in our mind what it is that you're doing. It's my understanding that this information came to us kind of late, so we
Yes, sir.
haven't had the information, and
Well, that was my fault.
it really
So-
helps if you're going to do something of this magnitude, that you contact us a little bit in advance so our PD can look at it. And
Well, sir, that was my fault.
Okay.
So,
Your Honor, may I say something?
yes,
We just need to make sure that that alleyway right there is kept open for
oh,
emergency
yes,
vehicles.
definitely.
Okay.
Yeah, the alleyway will be kept open.
okay. Does their plan sound workable to you, Captain Murphy?
Your Honor, it does, and I have already spoken with them, and we're gonna meet tomorrow.
Okay.
So we can go through everything. Myself and Sergeant Marshall will go over there and kind of do a walkthrough and make sure that everything is to our satisfaction.
Okay, good. Good.
Your Honor,
Yes, Councilman Guard.
if you're gonna put the trailer in at the south, just past the south door of your lounge,
Yes,
you're
sir.
only gonna be about halfway through the block before you get to the alley, so it'll be all those storefronts will still be available.
Well, excuse me, sir. I will have cones from Archers. I already spoke with those, with Archers, to use the cones to stay on the north side of the alleyway. So I will have it coned off.
So are you gonna go clear to the alleyway?
No, sir. No.
You're gonna stay back in
Yes.
mid-block, right?
Yes, mid-block. Yeah.
And then are you gonna go on Main Street at all?
No.
No, we're right to the very edge, where the street will already probably be blocked off due to the car show and the bike show. And so what I hear, they're all the way up to Main Street, so we'll be
So you would leave the sidewalk unimpeded between, on the east side up against the restaurant, so people could get through there?
Yes.
The sidewalks
Yes.
won't be
It will be
blocked.
unimpeded.
If an emergency vehicle needs to get through there, would that be possible?
Yes, sir.
Is there going to be room there for a
I will make sure of that.
truck or an ambulance or
Yes.
something like that?
I will make sure that there is room for that.
Okay, that would be a concern that we would have.
Yes.
So. Okay. Any questions that the council has? No? Okay. Chair would entertain a motion regarding this application.
Your Honor, I would move to approve the Landing Lounge's application for their street dance on July 18th.
Okay, thank you.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there further discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Thank you. Mayor votes aye as well.
Thank you.
Okay. Guess that's all the business at this time. Mr. Weaver, would you like to introduce our new Public Works Director, or did you want to do that during your?
Yeah, I was gonna do that during my.
Okay,
my
that's
report.
fine. We'll go. We're very excited about having our new man here, and I just want to make sure that we get him covered. Okay, Councilman Smith, would you lead off, please?
Nothing further tonight, Your Honor.
Okay. Councilman Larson?
Just we talked last meeting about the public parking and the inadequacies of the public parking down there, and I think that was just bad memories. We inspected it, and it's clearly marked. We have clearly marked parking for handicapped, and it's in use, so I can't see that it has not been best maintained, but it has been well maintained.
Okay, thank you. Councilman Fabian?
Yes. First of all, I'd just like to encourage everyone to take advantage of the large lineup of events surrounding the rendezvous that's coming up this weekend, and specifically to the animal shelter. They will be hosting the Redneck Barbecue and Rugrat Carnival on Saturday in conjunction with the Rocky Mountain Rebels Car and Bike Show in front of the in the CWC front lawn. And the Car and Bike Show will start at 10 o'clock. The Kids Carnival will start at 11. They'll have a lot of different food vendors there, lots of treats. Wristbands for kids will be $15 or 4 for $50, and will provide all-day access to various inflatable water features and bounce houses and whatnot. And then they'll also receive 20 game tickets for participation in many games that they'll have around that area. So if you've got kiddos, please bring them up and enjoy some of that. With the purchase of a wristband, they'll also get a gift while supplies last of some things that were donated. Should be pretty fun for them. So those are the main things with that. So get out there, enjoy what I consider to be one of the most exciting times of the summer around Riverton. So take advantage. Thank you.
I agree. Thank you. Councilman Canan?
Sir, I went to the Volunteers of America Leadership Council last Wednesday. They're looking to have their Empty Bowl fundraiser on the 23rd of October. It'll be down in the Armory. I believe they've said that they've had 5 or 6 of these fundraisers up in Sheridan previously, all done very well, but this will be their first one here in Riverton. It's going to be a family-type fundraiser. They're going to have a band, games for the kids, face painting, those type of deals. They're looking for, of course, the event sponsors, table sponsors, church sponsors. Right now, they're also going to be looking for donations for bowls for them to use, and organizations and individuals that want to donate various types of soup. So you'll get some more information coming around about those.
My wife is on that board, and I'm getting a lot of information on it already. So, but I appreciate that. Thank you.
Right, sir.
Okay, Councilman Guard.
Your Honor, there was a task force meeting for the airport, and a lot of good information was shared there. We had 3 representatives. Representative Miller was there, Senator Bebout, and Senator Cohen from Cody, and we got some real good help from the Jackson Airport Committee. Good information, some good data, and some good information of how to move forward on that. I did have a phone call from the paper's article. The subsidy that has been talked about in the paper is not necessarily for any specific airline at this point. We're just trying to enhance the air service, and to do that, we have to look at all the different air carriers that are available. The point that was made out of the Cody Airport was that they deal directly with United and have cut direct contracts with United, and so does Jackson Hole. They do their own contract work. And so the committee will have to take a look at that and see if that isn't a better approach than to go through Wyoming Aeronautics. So that was really good information. I appreciated the day in the park for the opportunity to go down and to work the booth for the city. That was a fun opportunity. We also met the first Monday on the 7th with the rec board. We tabled the only request for funds there. The children's library group brought an application that they wanted funded. They want to purchase a money bank to put in the exhibit, and it actually costs $28,000, and it has a drive-up little car you get in and go through a drive-up bank window and an inside teller window and place to make change, and it's quite elaborate, has a bunch of electronics to it, but we didn't have enough board members there. We had enough board members to have a quorum. We caught Mr. Ogg by phone, and so we postponed the vote on that until next month where we could discuss that. So if anybody has any feedback on that, there is funds in the rec board to pay for that, but it is a substantial purchase for a museum exhibit. So if there's any feedback, I'd like to have any that you got. That's all the information I have, Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Weaver, did you have your report? I'm going to go to my office for just a second and get a bit of information that I meant to have here while you're giving your report.
All right.
So,
I would like to introduce Kyle Butterfield. He's our new Public Works Director. He comes from Cottonwood Heights, and he's moved up here and settled in, and the last 2 days he's been in a ton of meetings, and I think he's probably got a lot of information, but I think he's going to do a great job for us, and we're excited to have him here. So I'd also like to thank the employees and the council for participating in the two events that we had on Saturday. We had the Trash Talk event, so we had a lot of city employees at that, along with Mary Ellen was kind of the coordinator of that, and so she did a great job, and didn't have a whole lot of participation with that. I think they said we had about 30 people show up, but it sounded like the day in the park booth went really well, and there was a lot of people coming by and asking questions. A lot of information was given out, so appreciate everybody for helping out on that. And then we just passed out to you the 1% update. That's something that we're trying to do at least once a month, and it may not necessarily be for the council. The council may be up to speed on the different ones, but I do this even more for the public that's listening in, and so they have an awareness of the projects that we have going on in the 1%. So I'll just go through some of these. Don Wilhelm is the one that prepared this for us. So we had Woodridge Estates. The overlay has been completed in all streets except North 16th Street East has been done. The contractor is currently adjusting manholes and water valves. Completion is expected by the end of July, so that's almost done. South Federal water and sewer lines are being installed on the west side of the Monroe. Project will be handled by a cash transfer between funds. Miscellaneous concrete. To this point, the contractor's on schedule. Concrete placement east of Federal has been completed. You'll notice right now they're out working on Broadway, along Park and Broadway, and so that's a 1% funded project. North 1st Street has been marked for future mobilization and work. The major patching project, contract has been signed, and pre-construction meeting will be soon scheduled, and then they'll get started. And then on the back, it just gives the revenues and expenditures that's been spent in that fund. So as of right now, we've received $2,394,118.05, and the balance is $2,244,839.95. So balance to date is $465,669. So looks like we're doing pretty well and staying afloat and moving forward on these projects, and we're going to do a better job in signing these projects. When I was driving past Broadway, I noticed there was no signs out there. I think the public needs to know what is 1% and what's not 1%. So we're gonna work on that. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Weaver. Before I give my report, I think I will defer to Mr. Baker to give a mosquito report. We haven't heard one for quite a while, and this might be an opportune time to hear how we're doing in that area.
Thank you, Your Honor. Lars Baker. I'm working for the Fremont County Weed and Pest this summer as a kind of part-time employee. I am collecting mosquitoes in the community and helping with with that mosquito monitoring program. So I thought I'd bring the council up to date so that you might understand what that relationship is between the Weed and Pest District and the city. In Fremont County, the Weed and Pest District puts in for a significant grant of funds from the Emergency Insect Management Grant System through the Wyoming Department of Agriculture. The reason for the funding is we have West Nile virus in our community and have had for over 10 years. Which is a rather debilitating disease if you happen to get it, and you have some other health problems. The average guy probably who's got a good immune system is able to deal with it without too much difficulty, but people who are compromised in some way, very young, very old, or some other diseases that are plaguing you, West Nile virus can be fatal. And so it has been a serious disease, and it sticks around with us. It stayed here in Wyoming continuously. Back on the East Coast it went away, but we have it here endemic now. So maintaining some level of control on our mosquito population makes good public health sense. And so the Department of Agriculture has asked in any mosquito program that we be able to demonstrate that the vector mosquitoes are actually present, and we can do that very easily. We've been trapping Culex tarsalis, which is that vector species. We've been had it in our traps since we started trapping on the 1st of June, and so it's with us right now. We had a cool spring. The mosquito population did not develop very rapidly, but with the little warmer weather that we've had the last couple of weeks, it's come on really strongly. Outside of town, we're collecting 2,000 mosquitoes in a trap overnight. In town, where we've got a spray program underway, we're running 20 or 10. And so that would indicate to me that the mosquito fogging program that's run by the city of Riverton, in conjunction with larviciding around town and that type of thing, is well over 90% effective. I have a trap behind my house off of Davis Lane. 2 weeks ago, I had 200 mosquitoes in that trap. That was the second night that they sprayed. So the second week that they sprayed, I had 200 mosquitoes. Last night, I had 20. So that shows a 90% reduction there in what's out there. That sounds really good. Anybody that gets 90% control of an insect population from a pesticide application says, yay, we've really done a great job. You have to consider, though, that that still leaves a great number of mosquitoes out there, and a portion of those are going to be disease vector mosquitoes. So this time of year when it's warm and it's kind of hot and we want to sit outside in the evening as it cools off is when Culex tarsalis is going to bite you. It's a sneaky mosquito. It doesn't, if you're out active, moving around, it's going to leave you alone. But if you're sitting quiet, that's when it's going to slip up on you. The common name for this mosquito is the northern house mosquito, and that refers to its habit of coming indoors. So it will slip in as you are going back and forth through the door, and it'll hang around until you go to sleep, and then it'll take a blood meal. So this mosquito is not the one that drives everybody crazy when they're trying to have a picnic in the backyard. Those are Aedes mosquitoes and primarily Aedes vexan. The species name is vexan, and which gives you an idea how nasty, aggressive they are, and they're just fogging around you all the time. Whereas the one that's going to cause a West Nile virus infection is a sneaky mosquito. So we have to pay attention to that. County 10 gives us, the county gives weed and pest good coverage. I've seen them run an article about every week about the mosquitoes, and I just want to make sure, though, that everybody that understands what that relationship is between the county program and the cities. This is different than any other county in the state of Wyoming where cities there apply for the grant directly. The State Department of Agriculture has asked the Weed and Pest District to cover that grant so that we can pass funds on to the tribes. Apparently the state legislature, there's some prohibition against using state money directly to the tribal entities. Whereas if they give it to the Weed and Pest District as a grant, then the Weed and Pest District can use that as a means of dealing with mosquito problems. And so we run a mosquito program for around Ethity. We have another one around Fort Washakie that the tribes operate. And then we've got a program in Pavilion and Shoshone and Hudson and Lander. That's all covered under that umbrella grant. And the city of Riverton gets a pretty good chunk of funds out of that grant each year. And the purpose of that is, the idea is that we will use those extra funds to go outside the city limits and operate a fogging program there and larviciding program outside the city limits. The problem with most of these mosquitoes is that they don't breed in town. They breed in the irrigated croplands around the community and down in the river bottoms. And so in order to have a very effective program, it's necessary to go out into those areas and do some work. And so that takes us outside of the jurisdiction of the city where we might not want to spend city funds. And so here's additional funding. The idea is that we should be able to use that money to treat in areas that we wouldn't otherwise go. So that way we can extend it. Anybody who lives on the edge of Riverton will know that the mosquito program is not nearly as effective there as it is in the middle of town, simply because you do not have the buffer distance from the fire. Even though the truck goes by your house, that mosquito fog that comes out of the back of that truck is only good for about 300 feet. The droplets are so small that they oxidize so rapidly that it's no longer effective as an insecticide after that fog has drifted about 300 feet. And so 10 minutes maybe at the most is where you're going to get mosquito control. So what happens to us then is that unless we've got a number of passes well out beyond us, then that doesn't work. And then you get to the edge of town and you'll see, even if we go through irrigated cropland fields and drive the roads through those fields, maybe the distance between those passes is going to be well in excess of 300 feet. And so then the effectiveness of the treatment drops way down, as opposed to where maybe in the center of town, we can not only treat the streets, we can treat the alleys as well and lay down a really good solid treatment area. And then that's very effective on the control of mosquitoes in general. So do you have any questions about the way that program is working? The fact that the city gets a pretty good chunk of extra cash every year that goes beyond what they would normally spend on mosquito control, and that comes from the Weed and Pest District.
Okay. Anyone have any questions?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lars. We appreciate your sharing that with us this evening. And with summer coming on, why mosquitoes are always a concern in this area with West Nile and whatnot. And it's my understanding we have a gentleman that might be interested in addressing the council at this time. Should have been on under the communication from the floor, but apparently we missed you, so I apologize for that.
It's okay. Mike Wilson. I thought I was on the agenda.
Okay.
I applied for an open container permit for Sunset Park. I thought you read it off.
Is it?
Oh, it's a rehearsal, bridal rehearsal.
It's a rehearsal dinner.
It was approved.
Oh, it is?
Yeah, the open, yeah, that's been approved.
It was approved.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was told I had to come here and talk to you people. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good to go.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, and I apologize for that. I didn't catch your name when I first started, and then I realized that, yeah, it's already on here, so
No problem. I'm sorry.
we're
Thanks.
more efficient than I realized we were. Okay, thank you very much for coming, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay, mayor's comments. The couple things that I wanted to visit about, in as much as we've got a little bit of a short meeting this evening. There was an article in the Riverton Ranger. It's the time of year when our candidates are all out running and whatnot, and one of our candidates for county attorney put an article in the paper that said the police exist to protect the public, but who protects the public from the police? And I was just a little bit offended by that remark, quite frankly. And then I was just reading in the paper this evening of a young officer, I think was in Cody, that wasn't either Cody, it was in Basin, yeah, that ended up shooting a fellow. And, you know, those things happen. But our officers are young men. They don't have the luxury of high salaries, and many of them are not college graduates, or, you know, they're young people that are given split seconds to make decisions that can be life-threatening. And I think they just do an outstanding job. The ones that I've had the pleasure of meeting and knowing are just exemplary citizens. They do make mistakes, you know, we all do, but they make their mistakes in a split second, and they don't have the luxury like an attorney, you know, can look over a case and wait 2 or 3 weeks to decide if they want to pursue it, and well-educated, you know, in excess of $70,000 probably fees. You know, our officers don't live in that world. And so it bothered me just a little bit for a candidate for county attorney would make that kind of a statement that I took as a pejorative against our police officers, and just wanted to express a little concern and support for our PD. I think they do a wonderful job. And I think given the day in, day out work that they do, we can't give them enough kudos. So just wanted to pass that on to the officers. So the next thing, we've got 422. It's my understanding that the DEQ may be coming up with a report in the not too distant future regarding that piece of property on Main Street. And so that discussion will be back before the council of what to do with it, how we're going to deal with it. And I think I've made my position perfectly clear what I would like, but we'll have that discussion again, I'm sure. But I was just reading in the Casper Star Tribune Saturday, July 5th, that Casper approves downtown restroom project. The Casper City Council approved $353,000 for public restrooms in the parking area. And one of the comments was, it says, you look at downtowns that are thriving, they have public restroom facilities, Powell said. It's just one amenity you need in place if you want downtown to be a destination. And it's an interesting article and whatnot, but I thought $353,000 is not a small chunk of change for restroom facilities in Casper. Kind of goes along with what Mr. Weaver and I ran into up in Jackson, the new public restroom facility up there that was solar powered, and I mean, it was palatial. It was very nice. So they were investing in their community. The next item that I had was weeds. We're growing weeds around town now at a phenomenal rate, and so I just encourage everyone to do what they can to try to control the weeds and cut them, and we've got a beautiful community, and in the middle of the summer when everything's greened, we don't need any more weeds than what we absolutely have to. I've got one lot I see that the kochia weeds are kind of growing up on, so I've got to get on it myself, but before I get a letter from Rosie. But and then I was interested in the 1%. I was going to comment about the Broadway 1%, but Stephen's already covered that with the memorandum from Ms. Wilhelm, and that's a project that's really doing just a wonderful job. The Woodridge Estates especially, anyone that lives down there or has been down in that area prior to the overlay, it's just the difference between night and day now, so, and we would.
Your Honor, it's better than night and day.
It's better. You live right down there, don't you, Kyle?
Yes.
Yeah. But it is, it's a beautiful improvement, and that would not have happened without our 1%. And John Darrington, when John was here as our interim city administrator after Carter left, that was a thought that he brought forward, and we were able to make it happen. And I just agree with Mr. Weaver that we need to do everything we can to advertise that to the public, so that when it comes before us again in 2016, why we won't have any problems with passing that. I agree with Councilman Fabian that the balloon rally that's coming up, get out there and support it, and it's going to be a humdinger. I think they're going to have about 24 balloons was the last figure I heard. Is that about correct? Yeah. So anyway, other than that, why, it wasn't a record, but we're very close. So we don't have an executive session this evening, so the chair would entertain a motion to adjourn if there's nothing else.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.